Good morning and welcome to the 2023 Run Rabbit Run 100 miler. I'm Jamil Curry here from Mountain Outpost, and we're here live from Olympian Hall. This is around the halfway point of the 100-mile race, and we've got some interviews for you guys today out of Steamboat Springs. My co-host today, Jason Schlarb, three-time champion of this race. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back and not to have to run and be able to watch people like you have fun out there on the course. So I'm happy to be just relaxing and seeing how you guys are feeling.
So we are joined by Tara Dower, and she is 29 from Virginia.
30.
30 now?
Yeah, 30 September 5th.
Okay, perfect. And happy birthday. And we have Drew Antonisse, and you are 28 from Telluride now, but originally from East Coast.
Yep, 28, living in Telluride right now, but born and raised in Marietta, Georgia. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have both of you. I think you guys just officially met. You were Instagram friends before this, sounds like.
Yeah. We, I don't know if we passed each other at when you were crewing Hellbender, but
yeah, I saw Tara at Hellbender this year. Interacted with Jonathan a little bit, and so yeah, it's nice to finally make contact, and we run together a little bit. So
nice. Well, I want to start with you, Tara. You were here last year. You placed second, and you've kind of had a pretty awesome rise into the sport. Maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into the sport for those of the people out there that don't know you super well.
yeah. So I'm a thru-hiker of the Appalachian Trail, and then after that, I wanted to do the Mountains to Sea Trail, but then COVID happened, so I wanted to do it in a responsible way. So I did a supported FKT. After that, I was like, I want to do the next challenge, and that was a 100-mile race. And then I really, really enjoyed the 100-mile distance. I was just like, I'm going to do a bunch of these. And that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Was Run Rabbit Run your first 100-mile?
No, I think it was my 5th.
Okay.
Or 4th. I don't remember.
Awesome.
Yeah, something like I just really enjoy running for a long time and through the night.
Nice.
Tara has a great YouTube channel. I was actually watching your recap video from last year, and I know that you struggled a bit with your nutrition throughout the middle of the race, but finished strong. Are you doing something different this year? Have you learned maybe some thru-hiker tips from the Colorado Trail this summer?
No. I don't really know what happened, honestly. This kind of happens throughout, every single race. I have a really low point. This might be TMI, but I throw up everything, and then I boot and rally and get back out there and just finish really strong. I get really like headstrong. I'm like, I'm going to finish this thing even though I'm low on nutrition, and I just kind of go for it because I'm so angry. I need to figure that out for sure. Colorado Trail, nutrition was actually really good because I think at elevation, your body's working harder. And so I was out there for 9-ish days, and so my body just wanted that food, and I was just able to eat a lot easier. But yeah, no, I need to figure that out for sure during races, my nutrition.
Yeah, so Tara, you did break Betsy Kalmeyer's long-standing Colorado Trail record this summer, and then I think it was broken right afterwards by someone else. Like, do you know like who broke it and friends with them?
Nina, she's also another thru hiker. We're just all over the place. But yeah, she went out there trying to go. I think she was going unsupported for an FKT with her pack and everything, and her pack broke, and then she started supported. And so I don't know her. I knew her after watching her attempt, and me and my friend Liz, we were like helping the crew figure out where to go on the road crossings, and just helping her out at several places with encouragement. Now I know her, but I was like, dang it, you could have waited a year or so. But I am proud. Like, the sport of FKTs and like the women on the Colorado Trail, it's been really inspiring this year. So many records have been broken, and I am overall happy. But next time I go out there, it's going to be a little harder to break that record. So
I'm curious how you're feeling after an effort like that. I know that was in July. How are your legs recovering? Are you feeling like you're going to have the speed for a race like this?
I don't know. I don't think about it. I try to just let it leave my mind. I don't want to like think about it too much and then make myself nervous and put these like restraints on myself. Be like, oh, I just did this thing. How am I going to do this? It's better just like when you get to the point where you're like, oh, wow, I'm hurting during a race, then you try to like navigate that. If I think about it before, that's not going to really be beneficial. As far as my feet go, I know that they're in pretty bad shape. I lost some toenails, and I actually got 2 toenails permanently removed about a month ago, and they kind of look weird. They're a little red, and some fluids are coming out of it. But, we just don't even think about it. We just move on and start the race and see what happens.
Which toenails was it the big ones?
So the big ones just fell off on their own. It was a really bad time with those. And then I went to a doctor. I was like, can you just permanently remove the big toenails? Because they're always giving me issues. Through hikes, FKTs, ultra races. And he was like, you have to wait for them to grow out, and then I can put the acid on it and like burn like the toenail off. You have to wait for them to grow back. So I had him remove the 4th toenail, which is like my second like most painful toenail. I always have toenail issues. That's like my Achilles heel for sure.
Drew, you are relatively new to the sport. I think your first 50K was in 2020. How did you get into the sport? And I know that this is going to be your first 100 miler coming up starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny that we actually got this slot together, because I actually thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail in 2019 southbound. So yeah, 2 thru-hikers here. So I kind of, similar to Tara, I kind of got into it from the thru-hiking scene. I really enjoyed long days in the mountains, lots of time on feet and that sort of thing. Didn't really have a running background, but growing up was always doing pretty well, the presidential pacer and stuff like that in school, and doing the fun run stuff. So definitely had some sort of passion for running. And then after the thru hike, that was in 2019, and then obviously early 2020 was COVID, so kind of got into running then and really picked up during March and into the summer. And so that's when I did my first ultra in August of 2020. So out in, I think it was the Marlette 50K and around Lake Tahoe. So
What do you living in the San Juans, the mountains are really steep. Here in Steamboat, it's pretty runnable. A lot of the course, as you've seen. And what have you been doing for training to get prepared for that? Have you? I prefer to just go out and do some power hiking and Telluride mountain run, San Juan solstice kind of training. But did you adjust your training for this race?
That's actually funny that you say that because being in Telluride, you're in town, you look up at the mountains and that's where you want to be and that's where you want to go. So, I didn't really cater my training too much to running. I really just wanted to have fun this summer and that's a lot of time on feet. And I like to think that also, can carry over well to 100-mile training. So, it was a lot of steep hiking and a lot of long days in the mountains, but also did try and get on some flats and, some of my longer runs I would start in the mountains and then, finish on some more runnable stuff to see how that felt. So didn't cater it too much. I just, kind of wanted to have a fun summer of training and, but that definitely was the consideration going into training for this race. So, we'll see how it plays out. And,
Great. I've got a question for you, Tara. Do you feel last year the altitude at the race affected you? Coming from Virginia, you spend a lot of time, obviously, all the time above 6 and up to 10,000 feet. Do you feel like this year, having done the Colorado Trail, that maybe that's an advantage?
Yeah. It can only help. But last year I came out 2 weeks before to acclimate, and I also did hot runs in Virginia Beach. It's really hot there, so I did peak heat runs that simulates running low oxygen, and then I did a lot of sauna and breath work in the sauna before last year's race, and that helped a lot. I felt great at altitude once I acclimated and everything. And then with the Colorado Trail this year, I felt great the entire time being here since I actually got here, because I went back home to Virginia Beach in between. And coming back here, I haven't really felt altitude at all.
What have you been doing for training? Have you been mostly resting or just doing easy runs, or have you what does that look like lately?
Yeah, just my coach is Carl Meltzer, and so he just puts a plan together and I just do whatever's on the plan. I just do his runs that he puts on there. He's very simple. There's not a lot of there's just not a lot to it. It's just mileage, and I love that. I love the simplicity of that schedule, and it kind of lets me go off feel. So while I was recovering, I was like, okay, I can kind of take it easy. I don't need to do anything hard. And then sometimes he has a harder effort on there by just putting say 10 miles harder effort. That's really all it is. So I'm able to push there, but it's just really simple, just off feel. I feel like that's great. what I train the best.
Yeah, and having Carl, the first Run Rabbit Run winner, as your coach is definitely helpful.
Yeah, he's great.
Fantastic.
I love Carl.
Great.
Curious from both of you, what attracted you to Run Rabbit Run this race, making it your first 100-miler? I guess for you as well.
Courtney, for sure. I heard her. Courtney's been my inspiration ever since I started, back on the MST. When I wanted to do my first 100, I just was so, everyone is, but when she was on Joe Rogan talking about her 100-mile Run Rabbit experience, I was like, I got to do that race. I got to see what it's all about. So really just Courtney. That's the answer.
And it was a good enough experience to come back.
Oh yeah. And so the community, once I came here, actually, I really fell in love with the community and the whole event. It's just a lot of fun.
How about that check? That's a nice bonus too.
Yeah,
right?
I got a treadmill. I got the Nordic Track treadmill that goes up to the 40%, so I can train like I would here without the altitude. But it's I can get those runs in. We have a mountain. It's made out of trash in Virginia Beach. They put grass over it, and that's my only hill I can go over. So now I have a treadmill I can use, so I don't need to.
So you bought a treadmill with your winnings?
Yeah,
Nice.
I did. Yeah.
Wow, that's great investment. What attracted me to Run Rabbit Run? A few things, I think. This will definitely be my most competitive race. So first 100-miler, most competitive, field. So I was definitely drawn to that sort of atmosphere just to see how I stack up. And then also grew up skiing in Steamboat with my dad. He's going to be here crewing me actually, so that'll be a fun kind of experience for us. Semi-local, so Telluride's only about 5.5 hours away. So another Colorado 100-miler, so I thought, that's pretty attractive. And then Hard Rock qualifier, and then of course, some prize money. You run for some money, that's pretty fun. So just to spice it up a little bit. Yeah, so and then this is amazing, like this, the opportunity to do something like this, an interview, and potentially run with so many awesome people. So just super excited to be here, and that's what drew me here. So
Tara, how are you feeling about the competition this year? Are there some women that you're excited to run with, or like you have your eyes out there for, that are in the field this year?
Yeah, there's a lot of really talented women in the field, just like last year though. But really anything could happen. There's so many factors in a 100-mile race, so anything could happen. So you just got to go out there, and obviously there's people like I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, they're really good. But you just go out there and try your best, and hopefully you survive better. And nutrition doesn't be your Achilles heel again. And I'm excited to run something that I've enjoyed running out here. Like I've done Black Canyon, and being from the East Coast, there's not a lot of women you run with during races. We kind of like find our races and we're by ourselves with like the men at the front. And at these races, I'm able to run with women, and we're able to share our experience. So that's something I really have loved being out here in Colorado, and then at Arizona is just able to, be with women and talk with them about our experience instead of just running with men the entire time. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's something about doing these really tough things and doing it with another lady that's empowering.
That's awesome. Wanted to talk a little more general. I know this is our first interview of the weekend, so I know maybe some people are being exposed to Run Rabbit Run for the first time. We do have a team competition as part of this. Not only is there a lot of prize money for individuals, but teams as well. Do you guys want to talk about your teammates for this event? I know you guys aren't on a team, but do you want to talk about your teammates at all? Do you know you're on a team?
Yeah. Jimmy, Carl actually set me up with Jimmy, and Jimmy's just a powerhouse for sure. We haven't talked a whole lot, but I've looked at his results, and he's definitely really talented.
Were you on a team last year?
Yeah, with Will Mitchell.
I'm curious, like, did that play out in your mind at all when you're racing? Like, are you at all thinking about that while you're racing, or not so much?
No, Not at all. No.
Just running your own race.
Yeah. Hopefully we both do really good.
Yeah, you get a nice little bonus if you both have a great day.
Yeah.
How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm going to be teamed up with Corinne Chauvoy. And I met Corinne a couple years ago. Her husband Graham was running the Ure 50. And so I met them there, and we just kind of maintained contact. And it's actually kind of funny. I think they had a small stint in Atlanta, Georgia, which is, kind of where I'm from. So, we're Team Tomboy, and that's Tomboy Basin, is up between Ure and Telluride. So that's and she's originally spent a lot of time in childhood in Ure, and I'm in Telluride now. So that's kind of how we came up with that name. And yeah, it's a fun little team challenge. So
nice.
Love it. That's really good.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit more about coming from that thru-hiking background, and maybe what advantages that gives both of you as athletes coming into the sport of ultra running?
Yeah, I think just like you've been saying, like the time on feet, just like being outside all day. Also I don't know if you agree with this, but some bad things could happen out there. You could get in bad weather. You could have nutrition issues. You only have one pair of clothes. Something could happen. You rely on yourself. You have to get to the next road crossing. I mean, unless you have a serious issue, but really it's up to you to like walk and get out of there. So I think like that exposure, doing that for 5 months and 10 days for me, just like hardened me a little bit. And then also time on feet for sure has helped with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think you probably have a little bit more experience from like an endurance standpoint, but like I think it's ultimately just like taking care of yourself, just eating and problem solving on the go and time on feet, making sure you're drinking enough water. I mean, that's when you really break it down, that's a lot of what ultra and trail running is. So that kind of carries over a little bit from the thru hiking experience, and I think like your Colorado trail experience is definitely a little bit more applicable because you're 50, 60 miles a day. But when I was thru hiking, it was like 25, 30 would be kind of the peak. So there's some good carryover there. But I think mostly it's just taking care of yourself and just listening to your body and like, okay, checking in, like, what do I need? So
still long days on feet though, I'm sure, even at 25, 30
absolutely
miles a day,
absolutely
with the pack and everything.
Yeah,
That's a lot of miles too for the AT. We didn't do that kind of miles on the AT. That's a lot.
One thing that, not being a thru hiker, having experience with that, the biggest difference, I feel like an ultra, there's a big jump between the 50 mile or 100K and the 100 mile. And I think that jump is oftentimes requires a lot of mental fortitude that I feel like a lot of running background runners don't necessarily have or have to adapt and figure out. And I feel like thru hikers and especially fast ones, we're doing enormous long journeys like you guys are. It seems like that ironclad mindset of just not letting the enormous task at hand get you down. I feel like that's a big advantage. I would guess that's a big advantage. I would like to have that fortitude when I first started, running ultras, that I feel like I didn't have as a classic distance runner, collegiate track and field. Do you agree with that? What do you think about that, both of you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just kind of like just accepting, the grit and determination of the current situation. Like, okay, this is where we're at, and it's raining. So we're here. It's raining. Like, that's funny on the AT. That's a lot of questions. Like, you go into town, and that's what people ask you. It's like, well, what do you do when it rains? Well, it's raining. Like, you deal with it, and it'll come and go. So similar to like ultras, the determination and willpower, as like you said. So
that like tenacity to be like, oh, I've got 40 more miles. Oh, that's not a big deal to you, but for like a regular runner, that's something that just like eats at a lot of people and crushes people.
Yeah, when I was thru hiking, you just kind of did it, like you said. You just get it done. You're relying on yourself a lot, and so I really just wanted to do the 100 miler, and I didn't really do a lot of research. I just wanted to do it, and I talked to a lot of ultra runners that don't come from a thru hiking background, and they're just kind of nervous to make that jump. And I feel like I don't know if this is how all thru hikers are, but I feel like we're just a little more willing to jump in and see what happens. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Tara, could you talk a little bit about race strategy on this course specifically, and especially this being your second time?
Yeah, strategy is just, the first 30, you don't want to go out too fast. You don't want to like be the first one out. So just like having fun the first 30 and, feeling my body and running when I can is kind of important to keep in the back of my head. And then the last 30, I think it's Dry Lake. I think Dry Lake is the last 30 after Dry Lake. But just like that's a really hard portion because you have a long time without your crew. So you really have to check in, and a lot of people that's maybe a little anxious. For me, that's really exciting because we get to be like the thru hiking background, you're able to be outside for a long time. So I'm just going to see what happens going into the dark. And that's really where I want to kind of turn it on, is that last portion where we're without crew for the 30, 40. I think it's 30. Yeah. Whatever it is. 30, 40. What's the difference?
And how do you like that noon start? I know that's a little bit unique in terms of 100 milers. There's not a lot of races out there that start at noon.
Yeah, I can sleep. Captain Crunch is my breakfast of choice. I can enjoy that and a couple cups of coffee. So.
Yeah, similarly, I think this year I've had some pretty early start races, so it'll be nice to sleep in a little bit and get a good breakfast and head off.
Do you have any sort of strategy going into this? Have you done a lot of research on how the course lays out or talked to people that have run it before?
No really like hard set strategy, but definitely kind of like what Tara said. Just go out, not go out too hard and just try and have fun, that first 30 before you even start thinking about, where you're at and racing or anything like that. So yeah, and just being my first 100, I don't really know what to expect. And I think I'm really just going to try and have fun and, challenge myself. So.
Great. You got anything else?
No, it's really exciting to hear your perspective as thru hikers and coming into ultra running and having the success that both of you have already had. I'm really excited to see both of you run tomorrow.
Thank you.
And before we close out, if there are viewers out there that want to follow your guys' running journey, how can they best find you?
I'm on Instagram and Strava, just Drew Antonisse. You can search me. I'm on there. I post fairly regularly. So.
Yeah, I have the YouTube, like you mentioned, that's Tara Treks, and then Instagram, Tara.Dower.
AKA Candy Mama.
AKA Candy Mama. What's your trail name?
Barbie.
Nice. Well, it was great chatting with both of you. Thanks so much, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Good luck. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Have fun there. Thank you.
Like this.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to touch chairs.
Yeah, I felt like if I being so far back, I'd be out of frame.
I know. I almost feel like we need like pillows.
Yeah.
I don't want to take those pillows because they're like guest pillows, but maybe we do because it is a little bit.
I felt like I was reaching over.
Yeah. Did we look awkward or did we look okay? No. Okay.
Well, that was a nice warm up.
Yeah, that was good.
Having more structure.
I'm trying,
Hey, Jamil. Hi.
Hello. Somebody says I'm supposed to video runners coming out.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Where are you going to be at?
Fish Creek.
Fish Creek. Can I get your phone number? else, Bryce? Do we need to adjust anything else?
Those are the big ones.
Stands on it or something.
So, yeah, you basically would.
But I wanted to put it in
There is a little arrow that says point in the direction.
Oh, yeah, well, my eyes
All you
are
have to do
like, bringing in those songs.
essentially just lift this.
Okay. If there is no color, it's
And
all.
then kind of get it centered as best you can. And down here, press the when you start and hold down. And it should come to life. And then all you have to do, it starts out vertical and you want to switch it to horizontal.
Okay. So you want it horizontal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then I don't know if you have like sometimes we have like an orientation lock on our phones. Just make sure you don't. If you don't know what that is, it
Oh,
probably
wait,
won't
that's
matter.
wrong.
Okay.
That?
Ready? It needs to be up. I think it has to look like.
I wanted to be so bad for like the last 5 hours.
So it's called Video Ninja. So basically you get this link and it will say join our camera. Allow access.
And I don't cuss, so like, you know.
You can choose the back camera. And then you can start it. And then refresh it. Yeah. Do you know if there's good cell phone coverage at Vision calls?
I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, no, you'll be
If
muted.
not,
Okay. If you want to hit that will unmute your microphone. The director here will still have you muted, and they'll be able to mute you and unmute you, but it's probably best to just, you could just unmute it so they have that option. Unless you really don't want, like if you guys are talking about something and you don't want, just mute yourself. But yeah, that kind of, it's just like a Zoom call basically. And then I would say, you know, if you guys want to go, like as soon as people start coming through, you could just, you could, if it's not super busy and you wanted to hop on earlier, you could, because we won't have a ton of camera views early on, so it might help us out early. Yeah. So I would say if you want to hop on, usually what it'll do is it will say on air somewhere on here, usually like in the center, if they're using your camera feed. The only other thing to look out for is up here in the upper right is the speed. Probably want it to be above 700 or 800 megabits per second, or it's like over 1.
How does, I don't adjust that.
No, that's like based upon the cell phone thing. If it's like so like over 1 is really good. Like it's gonna be a really good signal quality. If it drops down to like 100 or 50, it's really bad. And sometimes you just need to refresh, or it might be a thing that there's just not good cell phone quality. If that's the case, let us know, and we'll see if we can get a Starlink out there.
Okay. Well, maybe what I'll do is I'll go up there and see.
Yeah, and I can send you the link, and if you want to just give it a shot and try it out.
Okay.
Cool. We'll text you the link shortly.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks so
So
much.
get
I'll
that
give this to
on.
you right now.
Now, does that need a charge?
So to turn it off, you press press once, hold it down. It's always like 1 and then hold.
Okay.
It is charged right now. It usually lasts several hours of continuous use. Once we have like the top 10 pairs,
Then
we're probably on to the next thing. So,
okay, good luck. That's fine.
there's also, if you want to, you can screw this into the bottom, and it's a little tripod, so you can even just set it down. If you need to go do something, you can set it on a table and just let it
So do you
film.
want me to do like continuous?
Ideally, yeah.
Okay.
An ideal, yeah, a feed continuous if you can.
Okay. So.
We don't want it to take away from the volunteering duties of taking care of the runners.
Right, okay. Cause I think maybe what I would do is when the first ones start coming in, that'll be some of the tortoises.
Yep.
Do that for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or
Yeah.
something. Or if do you want like a big group coming in?
You could.
Cause maybe I could do 2
Yeah.
slots there, like
Sure.
the first tortoises and
Yep.
then a big group of them and then wait for the hares.
Yep, I think
And
that
the
sounds
hares
great.
do almost 2 times.
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay.
Awesome. And then we can also, we'll add you to our WhatsApp group,
Okay, that I don't have.
You might want to download that. That's just, it'll like have everyone on our whole team on one place, so you can ask questions there, you can talk to our producer,
Okay.
things like that.
Rules, but you did just because you were.
Well, they were gonna hold,
Oh, so
my
this
things
is.
are gonna have to wait there.
Big deal.
Alright, so let's see. Oh my. So is it this one?
Yes.
Are you?
And then one of our producers, Matt, he's not going to be here this weekend, but he's working in Flagstaff remotely. He'll send it.
Okay. All right.
Cool, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's do it.
Corinne's in the house.
Corinne, do we need to know anything before we get started? I mean, I know a lot about you, but if you want to, cool, we'll just get into it then.
Good, yeah. Hey, Corinne, I saw you at Hard Rock, but, yeah, I saw you.
It's your first time running this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Jamil, you want a comment plan? Or copy?
Yeah, that sounds great.
No copy?
No thanks. Appreciate it though.
I've already had my cup,
Okay, all right.
so I'm gonna try to sleep at some point.
Are you, where is the coffee?
It's like a half-mile away across the river.
Oh, okay, you're gonna go get coffee?
Do you want,
Can I get a
do you
chai
want the
latte?
truck?
Sure.
There you go.
What do you want?
Can I get some chai latte?
Sure.
That would be really
What size?
large would be great.
Actually, maybe give me a soy latte, like a large soy latte, that'd be great. Get a little calories in.
Thank you.
You want me here?
Yeah, make yourself comfortable. Jason, you can grab a pillow if you want.
This is a nice
You can
setup.
grab one of them. This is like my personal office set.
I
Like,
kind of recognize the
it's like from
chairs.
my personal office. It's pretty funny.
Don't you want the pillow?
Oh, like your home?
Do you need
office?
one of these? Or are you good?
I don't